So in this video we're going to demonstrate the new Worldpedigrees view that we released a couple of weeks ago. It's quite different from the previous Worldpedigrees views. So we'll start with selecting the breed. I'm clicking on Airedales here. Looking at the top row, we have the breed that was selected. And that can be changed just by clicking on the drop-down list, scrolling and selecting a different breed. You have the default report. The first 6 are the standard reports that we've had for years. And below this line here we have all the new PDF reports, which I'll go into later. And then we have the subject, which would be the particular dog that you select. On the left hand side here, if you click home, that goes back to the home page. Search gives you that option there. Trial matings gives you a list of all the trial matings that you've entered. User additions, these are normal records that you have added or modified. And bookmarks are records that you have bookmarked. So we'll start with the search mode. The first field here is where you select the field you're going to search, and the second one here is the search pattern. Click on this icon, search icon, and it'll begin the search and return all records where the name contains red. Records that you have previously bookmarked are indicated here with the little plus symbol. So we can display the current report, which in this case is pedigree, just by clicking. Notice that that's changed the subject, and the standard pedigree report has come up. We can reduce the size of that or increase the size of it. We can select a different report. Let's have a look at the inbreeding. Just a note on the inbreeding, the first line is the subject, which is also there. There's a note here that is calculated to 15 generations. First column is the inbreeding coefficient. The second is the coefficient of relationship. That is a measure of how related an ancestor is genetically to the subject. The percentage of blood and the line breeding. Just a quick note on the line breeding. We can see there's a squiggle here. So the numbers to the left, these are the generations that this ancestor appears on the sire side, and the generations on the dam side. So this particular entry appears on the 3rd generation on the sire side, and 5th generation on the dam side. Scrolling down a little bit, we can see there's another entry here which appears on the sire side at the 5th generation and on the dam side at the 5th generation, and twice at the 7th generation. Looking at some of the other reports, we have offspring, siblings, vertical pedigree, which is the same as the regular pedigree, but for each of the ancestors, the siblings of those ancestors, the full siblings, are also listed. So what I might do here is select one of the ancestors. Each of the ancestors is linked. So by clicking on that, we will then see the pedigree for that ancestor, which is a good time to do a reverse pedigree. So there should be quite a few ancestors there. So this first column would be the 1st generation of offspring, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th generation. Let's go back briefly to the pedigree, and we can see that some of the ancestors are colorized. So this indicates that they appear more than once in the pedigree, so they're duplicated. That becomes a little bit more obvious when you click on one of them. You'll see it highlights the other ones. So if I click on this one, it's highlighted that as well. Click on that one, it's highlighted that. Just makes it a little bit easier to identify the duplicate ancestors. And as before, for each of the ancestors, we have the inbreeding, coefficient of relationship, percent of blood, the number of times it occurs, the minimum generation at which it occurs, and the line breeding. So I mentioned bookmarks before. So when you float over the results of the search, you'll notice that some of them are bookmarked. Now, when I float over one that's bookmarked, you can see these icons, or one of the icons changes, and I can actually remove that bookmark. So now that one's gone there. I can click on that one to remove that one, and if I float over one that is not bookmarked, it offers me an add bookmark. So I'll just do that one there. So that one's now bookmarked. And if I go to the list of bookmarks, it'll be listed there. So again, floating over the results here, you'll see there's an edit icon. So if you have a pro account, you can edit these records or add a new entry. If you want to add a new entry, you would click up here, and to edit an entry, you can either click here, edit entry, in which case it'll edit the current subject, or just float over, and then when you see the record you want to edit, click on the pencil icon and it comes up here. So you can make whatever changes and then hit save. Now, just a note on adding entries. When you add entries, the previous parameters for the last edit or add appear here. So it's quite convenient for adding littermates. Anyway, we'll remove that one. So trial matings, and it's a similar story. So we'll add a trial mating here, and just give it a name. Now, with the sire and dam, you need to add at least 3 characters. So I'll just type in 3 letters, and all the records that have a name with BLU in it appear. So I'll click one of these and I've set the sire. Now with the dam, just type in OK. So now that lists all the records with a red in it, and I'll click on one of those to set the dam male, and so now I'm going to click save to save that, and we can see here it's succeeded and it's now actually displaying that. And we can switch back here to inbreeding to see what the inbreeding for this trial mating would be, and I can very quickly go back to my other trial matings just by clicking on them. And there we have the ancestor report for that trial mating, and the subject is also listed here. So we've clicked on a few reports, so now's a good time to demonstrate the subject. So you can select the subject by clicking on these lists in this second column here, or you can access the complete history of all the subject and reports that you've already run. Now the cool thing about this is when you click on any of these, and this lists the name of the entry, the breed and the report, it will very quickly pull it up. And the reason is that it's not rerunning the report, it's just bringing a report that you've already run back into the browser. So I can quickly switch to that one and you can see how fast it is. So that's a very quick way of backtracking and looking at previous reports that you've run. So now we've done the search, we've done trial matings, user additions. So you may want to edit one of those. So that works pretty much as I mentioned before. And bookmarks. These can be, just remove that, remove that one. So that completes a very quick introduction to the new compact view.